Hello everybody. I know usually I'm starting videos at the forge, but I've got a summertime cold and the forge has not been in the schedule. I've spent the past 2 days moving between the bed and the couch. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to be working the ambulance this weekend and I just couldn't do it. But I did do a couple of videos earlier in the week before I started feeling poorly. For this one, I had a client or a viewer ask how I ground my knife blades. So in this video, I cut out a simple knife blank out of high carbon steel, and we'll have a watch at how I do my hand grinding. Hope you enjoy. If you do, be sure and hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching. So here we are. I've got a 60 grit belt on the sander. And you can see here I've taken my knife blank, I've taken a Sharpie and just eyeballed a line down the center of what will be the edge. And now I'm going to start grinding. And what I'm going to do is take a pretty steep angle and start my bevel. And I'm going to grind that bevel down just to the edge of the Sharpie mark. There we go. Had to cool it off. Now I know there are a lot of jigs and different tools to help you get your grind right, and they're okay. I guess they work really good. I just usually do things by hand and eyeball. So now I've got the one side ground down to the Sharpie mark on a steep bevel, steep angle. Now I'm going to do the other side the same way. Keep checking, try to make sure everything's even. There we go. You can see it's ground down to the Sharpie mark, really close. Now I'm going to take off another bite by decreasing the steepness of my angle. Working carefully along the blade. And making the bevel wider. And I can just decrease that angle every few strokes and move that bevel on up the blade until it gets to the point where I want it to be. Got to keep it cool. You can see how that bevel's moving up. And compare that to that really steep bevel on the first side. Every stroke or two across the belt, I decrease the steepness of the angle and move the bevel up. Sorry. There you go. That compared to the way it was on the first side. Now, just going to repeat the process on this side. Now it's okay. You can measure up your blade, take a Sharpie and mark how far up your bevel want to go, and then grind to that line. Sometimes I do that, not very often. I've made enough knives now that I've just kind of got a feel for it. Getting there. Not bad. It's pretty good. Cut everything off. Get the grinder stopped, and I'm going to go from a 60 grit belt to a 120 grit belt. And there you can see the bevels on each side. They match up pretty well. And here's our 120 grit belt. Get it on, start it up. And this is a tricky bit for most people. Now, as I lay that bevel up on that belt, I'm feeling for the flat. I've already got it ground flat with the 60 grit. So I can feel when I have the flat of that bevel laid against the belt. And now I'm just polishing it out. I want to take out all the grind marks from the 60 grit. Same thing on that side. We're done. Time to go to a finer grit. So now we're going back with a 220 grit belt. And same thing. Taking my time, feeling the flat, polishing out the 120 grit grind marks. Now you could go ahead and heat treat at 120 and it'd be fine. I don't like to. I'd rather just take the extra minute and polish those flats a little more because it seems to scale less when you have a nice polished bevel. Maybe it's just me, just my opinion. But I think I get less scale on the bevel when I have it highly polished. So, all we're doing is taking out the 120 grit marks, taking my time. No need to get in a hurry. First the one side and then the other. Now we're going with a 400 grit belt, and that's fine enough for the preheat treat grind. And that blade will get really hot really quick if you're not careful. Once again, I'm just feeling for the flat, following the flat around, polishing out those grind marks from the more coarse grit belt. And I think that's going to be pretty close. It really doesn't take long to polish these out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope maybe I've given somebody some ideas, maybe given somebody some information they can use. And if you enjoyed it, be sure and like and subscribe. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Give us some ideas if you've got an idea for some future content. Thanks for watching.